In today's video, I'll show you a simple setup that you can use to trade the final hour of the market. This is, I think, one of the most efficient ways to use a 1 hour time span outside of the opening range breakout to trade what is a fairly predictable setup that you can repeat every single time. Now, the setup starts with first finding stocks which have breached the volatility box models, but have not really gone anywhere for much of the day. For all of our Stock Volatility Box members, these are typically the stocks when, if you come into either the daily or the hourly tab, you'll see that the timestamp is from earlier on in the day. So you'll see that those stocks remain on the scanner for quite some time, and today an example of that was Meta. Meta, if we take a look at price action, breached our Volatility Box clouds, and we remained on the live scanner all through this chop until price action finally started to get going towards the close. So that's our first clue. We're looking for price to breach our Volatility Box models, and we're looking for that final move to take place in that final hour where we see the thrust actually come inside. Now, if we take a look at the next thing inside of Meta, we're looking for some signs of price action starting to break down. I have 3 indicators loaded outside of the Volatility Box models. I have the market pulse, which is this line on the chart. I have the momentum cross, which are these dots, simply looking at if and when the 3 EMA crosses either above or below the 8 EMA. And I have our edge signals indicator, which is our version of an overbought oversold confirmation, and in this case, useful for the overbought confirmation. If we take a look at Meta, price action hits our Volatility Box models right around that lunchtime hour towards the tail end of it at 10 a.m. Pacific. After that, we just continue chopping around, not hitting either the target line or going outside of the clouds, just staying inside here. The buyers don't seem to have a lot of control or force behind them, and the sellers don't seem to have any momentum here either. Now, we start to see 2 of our edge signal confirmations right here, and that's towards the 11 to 12 p.m. Pacific hour. That's your first sign that, hey, we're starting to get into this overbought territory where we're looking for price action to reverse. If you're looking for an early entry, this is your way to try and get an early entry using the edge signals indicator. Now, another way that you might try and use an entry is waiting for this trend to switch. On something like a 5-minute time frame chart with only that final hour in question, that's not really enough time, enough bars to take advantage of a switch even if one did take place. You'll see that took place here towards 12:50 and you really just had one candle. Instead, there you need to be a little bit more precise with your time frames. Come down to a smaller time frame, so say a 2-minute as your proxy, and you can see that the market pulse first gives you signs of starting to break down right around the beginning period of that final hour, right around 12:06 p.m. Pacific. Now, you'll notice this isn't all that clean either. We have the market pulse switch, and then we have buyers try one more time before the sellers come in and reject it. And it's really this period right here that you're looking for your entry in. After the market pulse is switched and before price action has started to get going, and as close to this line as possible. So that's on the 2-minute, but if you did want to take advantage of this setup on the 5-minute, Meta also gave us the 1-2 punch with that 3 and the 8 EMA. We saw the sellers try to take over control. We saw the buyers try to defend, but that very quickly got rejected with sellers with a nice bearish candle for the second momentum cross. After that, you could see what happens in the span of less than, 35 minutes. We can see the move, almost a $2.80 move inside of Meta as a drop into the close and exactly where the trend exhausts. So one more time to recap, this all started with looking for stocks that are hanging around on our live scanner for a little bit too long. Meta is one example. The more recognizable the name, I think the better the setup. Meta fit that criteria very well. Hit our scanner, stayed on our scanner for some time. We started to see the initial signs of price breaking down. We saw momentum start to switch as well if you wanted to wait until the very last minute. This was 12:25 p.m., so only 35 minutes left, and you're very efficient with your time here. Now, another example from yesterday, if you'd like to see another one, is Intel. Now, Intel, if I scroll back, yesterday, same idea. Price action breaches our lower volatility box clouds And this happens at 11 a.m. Pacific, so 2 hours still left until the market closes. Now, in that entire period, all the way up until about 12:20, you can see price just chops around sideways. Every time price dips below, it's getting bought up. You can see that with these wicks. We have our first, in this case, over sold confirmation signal. This takes place towards the tail end of the 11 to 12 p.m. Pacific hour. And the first sign of momentum switching at 12:20 p.m. Pacific. And after that, you can see the rally that takes place 40 minutes into the close, a 28-cent move or 0.65% inside of Intel, which is actually something fairly noteworthy from a day trading perspective. Also, if you were to come into the 2-minute time frame chart here and look at the same market pulse setup that we looked at from our setup in Meta, you'll see the market pulse goes green here right around that 12:30 mark. So 12:20 to 12:30 is where that trend switch takes place, and that's your entry to ride the trend into the close. So that's where you're really looking for moves in which, again, everything starts with hanging around on our scanner. You're waiting for the reversal to actually take place for whichever direction the trend was. In this case, for Meta, it was the long side for the buyers to exhaust right near the all-time highs, and for us to come in and sell price action where you've seen selling take place before with the 2 wicks. If you'd like to learn more about the Stock Volatility Box, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Take care, everyone, and I'll see you in the next update.